Our next guest served as National Security Advisor and Secretary of State under Richard Nixon and Gerald Ford and has advised many other American presidents on foreign policy. Henry Kissinger joins us now. He's the author of the new book entitled Leadership. And it is so good to see you, Dr. Kissinger. My father loved you so much, and I know if he was here right now, he would have some jab at you, some smart comment. You guys have some great sparring moments.
Yes, but I had great affection for him, and I thought we were good friends.
You were very good friends, and we appreciate so much the letter that you sent to us after he passed. It made me cry. I could feel that you loved him.
He was a part of my life. We had some disagreements, but we had basic agreements on overall issues.
Well, let's talk about the new book. It is really... I think it's so important for so many policymakers to read. You talk about what often seems inevitable actually is the result of strong-willed leadership and leaders who are not afraid to be divisive.
Of course, the classic example in my book is de Gaulle, who arrives in Britain from France, having just been made brigadier general, lowest ranking general. He arrives without money, without the language, and convinces Churchill to make him leader of the Free French, which really didn't exist at that point. And he said to his people that had just been defeated, we need a moral regeneration of our society to go back to values that have made us great.
It's fascinating, your selection of two post-war European leaders because of the contrast, and it shows that the genius of leadership is understanding what strategy you need to take at the time based on your position. You, of course, talk about de Gaulle, a man considered arrogant by most who dealt with him, but you talked about that strategy of will. But by contrast, his counterpart in Germany, Adenauer, a man who, of course, was following the horrors of World War II, and he adopted what you call the strategy of humility. Explain.
Adenauer followed Hitler, and Germany was in chaos, and he began by saying we were guilty and we were responsible for the war. He assumed responsibility for their actions, and he agreed to the partition of Germany so that a third of it was put under Soviet rule, relying on the fact that he could make the surviving Germany so vital that it would become an irresistible attraction for the Eastern Soviet part of Germany. And from this posture of humility towards the Allies and inner strength, he did bring about what he had set out to do, create a vital, democratic Germany that became part of the West, and after a substantial period absorbed the rest of Germany. But he did not do it by assertiveness. He did it by urging his people to go through the suffering of their defeat so that they could emerge as equal partners.
Let me read an excerpt from your book. You talk about these leaders all having a penetrating sense of reality and a powerful vision. All six could be bold. They acted decisively on matters of overriding national importance, even when conditions, domestic or international, appeared decidedly unfavorable. Faith in the future was to them indispensable. You write, great leadership results from the collision of the intangible and the malleable, from which is given and that which is exerted. Scope remains for individual effort to deepen historical understanding, hone strategy, and improve character. I wonder, Mr. Secretary, reading your words and reading this book, how would you judge American leadership in the post-Cold War world? Have our leaders failed, or have they risen to the occasion?
I would say in the immediate post-Cold War period, the American leaders achieved a great outcome because they brought their people, which had been largely isolationist, to a conviction in the leadership of Europe and of the pan-Atlantic relationship, but eventually to a kind of leadership of global order. And the period between 1945 and the late 60s was a great period of American leadership. In the period in which the American preeminence has declined because other countries rose, to adjust to a world in which there is multiple leadership and multiple values, that adjustment we are still going through and has not been made with the same elegance and the same vision.
All right. The book is Leadership. Former Secretary of State Henry Kissinger, thank you so much for being with us. We greatly appreciate it so much. And we'll be right back with more Morning Joe.